City of Madeira Beach Board of Commissioners regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 13th, and the time is 6 p.m. Would everyone rise at this time, and would Commissioner Lister please lead us in this evening's invocation?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our Heavenly Father, bless all those who give themselves in service to their fellow man. Grant unto them true judgment, noble purpose, and great daring as they seek to do thy will in their work for the people of Madeira Beach. We ask your blessing on this commission and on all in attendance here tonight, that our work may find favor in your sight. Amen.
Amen.
With your indulgence, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask Troop 340 to come forward, please. We're honored to have Troop 340 with us tonight. They're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I've, in my lifetime, been privy to know 5 Eagle Scouts, and to become an Eagle Scout, you have to do a merit badge. So these gentlemen are here to get their civic merit badge, and I appreciate them coming forward and leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Troop 340.
Yes, Lieutenant Hutt, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Commissioner Lister, thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Would the City Clerk Pro Tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Here.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Here.
Commissioner Poe?
Here.
Commissioner Shantz?
Here.
And Mayor Palladino?
Here. At this time, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the provided minutes.
I so move.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion or corrections? Would the City Clerk Pro Tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shantz? And Mayor Palladino?
Yes. Next, at this time, I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion amongst the commission? Would the City Clerk Pro Tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shantz? And Mayor Palladino?
Yes. At this time, presentations. Deputy John Luckett. Would you please conduct Ms. Helen England to the podium? And at this time, I will ask the commission to please join me at the podium.
I know.
Yes, ma'am. At this time, I'm going to ask the city manager to please read the biography of Miss England of her century of life.
I'll be happy to, Mayor. Helen England was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1913. Her father was a Navy underwater diver based out of the Philadelphia Navy Yard. She moved to Cape May, New Jersey in her youth and remained there throughout her early years when she met her husband, Norman. She had 2 children there, Bonnie and Norman. In 1946, Helen and her family moved to Central Florida, where she had 2 more sons, Terry and Jim. In 1951, she moved to our Suncoast Gulf beaches, where she served as the town clerk of Reddington Beach for 2 years when she left in 1966 to assist her husband in his business, England Brothers Construction in Largo, currently run by her sons, Terry and Jim. Helen moved to Madeira Beach in 1990, where she remains extremely active today. She attends weekly line dancing classes, Red Hat Club meetings, ski club meetings, and goes on trips with her family, or anyone else that'll go with her, whenever possible. Showing us she has no plans to slow down anytime soon, she was recently inducted into the Holiday Isles, Florida Elks Club.
Bennett? Ms. England, it's my honor, the City Commission and the City of Madeira Beach, to recognize your century of life. It's my honor to present you with the key to the City of Madeira Beach.
In my 100+ years, and I'm always so happy to
she has. We should look something.
Our next presentation is a proclamation for Safe Boating Week, and I know we have members of the Madeira Beach Auxiliary Coast Guard. If you'd please join me at the podium. Well, folks, I know I've been able to do this for the last few years, recognizing the Madeira Beach Coast Guard Auxiliary and Safe Boating Week. Recreational boating, there's a lot of things that can happen. It can happen fast. Things that people need to be aware of, and proclamations about, and Safe Boating Week is about, is to go ahead and make sure that people do take their classes, take boating safety classes, wear your life preservers. The past years, life preservers used to be bulky and heavy. With new technology out there, they're more comfortable, they're easy to wear, they're even more fashionable. So, with most accidents and most drownings could be prevented, probably 80% of them by wearing a safety flotation device. And once again, the rules of the road and what y'all have done here in Madeira Beach with the classes makes a difference. And being part of the Barrier Island, it's been my honor to be the mayor and do different things with you. So, whereas on an average of 700 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the U.S., approximately 70% of these fatalities are caused by drowning. And whereas the vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or judgment and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. And whereas significant numbers of boaters lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today if they had worn their life jackets. Whereas today's life jackets are more comfortable, more attractive, and more wearable than styles of the years past. It is time of the testimony of whereof I, Travis Palladino, Mayor of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, on behalf of the entire Board of Commissioners of the City of Madeira Beach, hereunto subscribe my name and have caused the official seal of the City of Madeira Beach hereunto affixed to this on the 13th day of May 2014. Barbara? He's done me already. And I have to thank Brenda. Brenda has gotten me out to do the Coast Guard drops, all the training, the auxiliary drops, working with the Coast Guard station. And the auxiliary is a big part that makes the Coast Guard work. So everything what y'all do here in Madeira Beach, thank you very much. And they're right here in Madeira Beach. Next, public comment. This section is reserved for public comments on matters or concern pertaining to city business and which are not on the agenda. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes. Would anybody like to speak this evening? Okay. Next, consent agenda, none. Unfinished business, none. New business, public hearing. Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, item number 1 is a public hearing to consider an alcoholic beverage use permit, number 14.03, to allow the transfer of a 2 COP alcoholic beverage license to sell beer and wine for the consumption of premises from 15,024 Madeira Way to 15,026 Madeira Way. The license is in the name of Daily Grind European Cafe, LLC. And the staffing that you've got listed in your binder would provide you with some background on this. You remember that there's specific issues that you're supposed to consider under Section 110.532. I don't know if the city manager has any additional information that he wants to add, but the staffing is in your book. It's my understanding that staff is recommending authorization of the alcoholic beverage permit number 1401 and to approve the transfer.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we consider alcoholic beverage permit number 14.03 to allow transfer of 2 COP alcoholic beverage license to sell beer and wine for consumption on premises from 15024 Madeira Way to 15026 Madeira Way. The license is the same name of Daily Grind European Cafe LLC.
I'll second.
A motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion amongst the commission?
I know that we've had several licenses come before us in my tenure up here, and it does just basically a legal thing. The state already grants a license. And I know that there's been some safety issues on some of the stuff that we've stopped in the past that was in 150th. But I just want to ask you, or whoever, maybe if someone here from the businesses, the COP is consume on premise. So if it's two COPs and it's two businesses side by side, are they allowed to take beer from one business to the other?
The answer
I'm
is
not
no.
clear on that.
No.
The answer is no. They need to keep it within the confines of the footprint of the building. They
Consume
can't
on
even
premise.
walk outside with it. If it was a package sale, they could take it outside, take it home, and then open it at home.
Okay.
But no, they cannot be walking between those two buildings or those two units.
So I'm familiar, obviously, with the area that we're talking about, and there's tables and chairs outside. Are they allowed to?
No, they're
take
not
their
allowed to
beer
do
They
that.
won't be able to drink outside.
No.
Okay, all right. And if that happens, what's our recourse? Do we have a recourse if that happens?
Code enforcement will
Okay, all right.
handle the situation. Mr. Mayor, I've had, I don't want to say a lot of phone calls, but I've gotten a lot of concern over this transfer. If you look at item number 1 in your packet, and it says the extent to which the location, the extent to which the proposed alcoholic beverage would adversely affect the character of the existing neighborhood. We do have a market on the corner that sells beer. There's a restaurant on the corner that has a bar and, outside music. We've been trying to, increase the amount of events and fun things that occur on the street. And so if you look at the letter of the law, I don't think there is a good reason to deny this. We all know the concerns involved, and city staff and law enforcement will be watching it closely.
Any other questions from the commission? Is there any further discussion? Would the city clerk pro tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
No.
Commissioner Shantz? Mayor Palladino?
Yes. Next, item 2, ordinance 2014-03. Mr. City Attorney, please read by title only.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, ordinance 2014-03, an ordinance of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, amending the City of Madeira Beach Code of Ordinances to amend Subpart A, General Ordinances, Chapter 62, Taxation, Article 2, Local Business Tax, to increase the levy of local business tax by 5%, and correction of typographical error on 25E, boat marina or storage, including dry storage, 11 through 50 slips, by providing for a reading by title only, by repealing ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date. That was the first reading of ordinance 2014-03 by title only.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to pass ordinance 2014-03.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion amongst the commission?
We're just keeping up with the current levels? Is that what we're doing? We're just trying to bring
Well,
this back up to?
Barely. We had workshopped this. This is the business tax license that you come on in for. You can only raise it 5%. You haven't done it, and I want to say and see maybe you
To
could
raise
correct
it
me if I'm wrong.
5% a year? Or
Right, but we haven't done it since 2008 or 9. I don't know if Cheryl's in the audience,
that's
but
when
she
the
would know.
recession started. That's a good reason not to raise
That's a
it.
good reason not to raise it, but I think a lot of people have, and just to get, this 5% represents, I think, about $3,400 in revenue into the budget, so this does not, this won't be a burden to any one business.
No, but it also makes it more, I think, brings the clientele.
It does,
You know,
and you're
I mean,
updating.
If you don't charge anything, then everybody wants to get here.
Yeah,
So it'll bring the shops and everything else up to a level, which is good. I'm not saying we're going to raise it 5% every year, but
No,
we can
no.
obviously consider
You
it.
don't want your fees to fall behind,
Exactly.
period, so that's where you're at on this.
So business tax creates about $70,000 a year for the city of Madeira Beach, and I
If-
think
if-
there's besides myself, 2 other commissioners here that have businesses here, so I know I looked at the economic impact on my business, and it's nothing. So I think it helps to just add a little bit of extra revenue to the city.
I think we've been very fair, and so this is just an updating type.
All right, is there any further discussion? Would the city clerk pro tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shantz? And Mayor Palladino?
Yes.
Mayor, if you want to take a break and, if there's audience members that came for a certain part of the meeting and now would like to excuse themselves, you're more than welcome to leave. We don't make you stay for the whole, the whole service, but you're welcome to stay as well.
Brenda, thank you. Sorry.
Don't forget to tell them about the bricks.
Oh, hey, Brenda?
You want to tell them about the bricks
Yeah,
on the
you
side
know
of the
what, I'm
building?
sorry, and I'm a little bit, and I'll tell you what,
I'm
while
sorry.
everybody's I think everybody's cleared, and I should have done it under public comment, but at this time, I will go ahead and waive that, because I know what a great thing you're doing down there at with the bricks, the memorial bricks for anybody that's had or that's in the service or has passed away. If you could give us a little bit of an update about that? Hey, excuse me. I'll tell you what, if you talk in the microphone, everybody at home can hear too.
Right.
I know.
You can stand on this side. There you go. Sure,
Yeah,
absolutely. Mike,
The Coast Guard Auxiliary, we have a brick wall, and it's going to be a memorial to all the, like Mayor Travis said, the military. It can be current, they don't have to be deceased, or it could be a family member that's been deceased for years, or anybody that's been in the military. And the bricks run, I think, $79.95 and $79.95. It's a 4x4 or 4x8. And it takes the whole side of our building. And our address is over here on Bogosiega, 299 Bogosiega. And you can, actually, in the Madeira Wave, there's our email. So if you're interested in a brick at all, let us know, and we'll mail you the form. And you can mail us a check, and we'll get it engraved and get it on the wall for you. And you're welcome to go up there and look at it. Good thing. Well, thank you very much.
Brenda, thank you. And y'all do a great job once again over there. Thank you. Next, ordinance 2014-04. Mr. City Attorney, please read by title only.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, ordinance 2014-04, an ordinance of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, amending Section 66-74 of Article 3 of Chapter 66 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Madeira Beach, removing references to length of vehicles up to 18 feet in length and providing for an effective date. That was the first reading of ordinance 2014-04 by title only.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
A second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion amongst the commission?
so why are we doing this?
Mr. City Attorney?
Well,
Manager?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
You can answer, Tom.
If Tom wants to take it.
He has
Okay,
his own
I remember when we put the 18-foot in, so we wouldn't have a lot of RVs in our parking lots. And
Right.
now we're taking it off, and, I'm just saying, what mistake did I make in the first place?
Well,
Being here.
if we're going to accuse a commissioner of making a mistake, I'll leave it to the city attorney to call you out.
Oh, it's passing the buck.
The only reason why we monitored it as staff, it was never used.
Exactly.
So,
Okay, it's never used, but wasn't there specific spots for
Yep.
the 18 feet?
yes,
Or
and they were
or
signed.
less? But we don't ever allow 18 feet or more. So what happens when a 30-footer or a 35 pulls in there and they take up 5 spots?
Well,
How are we going to regulate?
You don't want to be in there, even at 18 feet, that's a difficult parking lot to navigate with a vehicle of that size. And so really what we want to do is keep them out of that lot. And not that we're discriminating against the RVs, we'll put them at the marina or here once this project is done. So,
And I don't want to discriminate against anybody, but that's one of the reasons we did it, is to make sure they didn't go onto the city lots and take up spots that could be used by cars. I don't understand how this is helping the city of Madeira.
well, because enforcement has certainly changed since we first started this gig, as you can see, in a budget amendment.
Have we written any tickets for an 18-footer or above in our lots? I'm sorry.
No,
Okay.
no. It's so rare that when they do come to town, they call us and say, where can we go?
Because
And
there's a rental one right now. When I came to the meeting, there's a rental RV at Archibald. I don't know, it's gotta be 16 foot. It's one of those, old RVing, which is, I hardly ever see those either, but.
we rarely see them, but I have seen them there before. A lot of, tourists, foreign visitors will rent those, but they'll park in those spots, but they're not staying overnight, and if they are, they're either being ticketed or we know about it, and they'll come in
Now
and
we
get the pass.
can't ticket them if we take it off the books. So that's all I'm saying. Why are we taking it off the books? I don't understand.
We can still permit them to park down there if
Okay.
they call in and do so. What we're
They
doing.
were already, if they were above 18 feet, they were already, you could permit them, right? Couldn't they?
The answer to your question is we don't want an 18-foot vehicle in that parking lot because it's too difficult to navigate that size vehicle through that.
Which, I
This is
thought
South-
we already had that.
John's Pass Park. Right.
So it's just for John's Passport.
That's it.
Okay,
That's the only place that we put it.
exactly.
Right. Anything else is open. All of the other spots are permittable, if that's the right term.
Just not
And
John's
what
Pass.
we really want, if they're just looking to sleep overnight, we put them out at the marina where we've got security and a gated type area.
Understand. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions from the commission? Is there any further questions? Mr. Lewis?
Dick Lewis, 561 Crystal Drive. Notwithstanding that discussion, I think some additional clarification is necessary because this isn't doing what you discussed you think it might do. For clarification, let me reread the whereas. The Board of Commissioners has determined that vehicle parking should not reserve spaces for vehicles over 18 feet in length. Now, if you go to the code says privately owned motor vehicles up to 18 feet in length will be permitted to park in the following city parking lots. So now you can permit them up to 18 feet. But the action you're taking deletes that paragraph. The net result of that is that the length is unlimited. It's diametrically opposite to what you want to do. 18 feet is the standard F-dot parking space, and what you want to do is limit it to 18 feet. If you want to limit it to less than 18 feet, you got to modify that paragraph, not take it out. If you take out that paragraph, it's unlimited. Better take another look at it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Anyone else? You need a second, Mr. City Attorney?
Yeah, we need a minute,
Okay.
especially with the city clerk being absent tonight.
Okay.
But wouldn't that just have, everybody that has an RV would have to come to City Hall and get a permit? That means everybody has to come by. Nobody can park in the lots, is what we're trying to accomplish. You don't want anybody to park in the lots for any reason until they come to the City Hall and get a permit.
No, the real reason for this is somebody getting in there with an RV that's too big and parking it in a parking spot that sticks out or hampers the traffic.
I thought that's what we already had in place, 18 feet or less.
My understanding was that's why we waited. We went ahead and opened it up at Johns Pass Park, and then we waited 6 months and then asked staff to come back with this recommendation to
Right,
either
which
do
we-
it or
we
not do
never-
it. And then that's what I thought this whole recommendation was to go ahead and eliminate it because it didn't make a difference.
Nobody uses it.
Nobody uses it.
Correct.
And I understand nobody
Right.
uses it. But that, just because nobody uses it, means we could eliminate it.
Nobody uses it, but we didn't want that size vehicle. I mean,
We
we've
didn't
had
want
some,
any 18-footers, but I think,
not down there.
I think it's right. If we eliminate all length references, then we open it up to any length reference.
This will not be issued for those
Right. I mean, I guess you just need to decide whether or not you want to have, if they're coming in to park and pay their $1.50 an hour versus if they were going to keep their RV overnight and stay there, and how you want to police that.
You want more teeth? Is that what we're looking for, more teeth to stop them from parking there?
No.
I don't know.
I think
I don't know what our goal is.
the goal,
I think what he's trying to tell us is that we don't want thought that John passed Village Park resolution.
Right.
But we discovered that that's not a good idea.
Well, I'll tell you the first thing that happened. The bus that brings in 80 people from wherever they're coming from for the casino boat got trapped in that parking lot, and he was going to sit there all day in his 18-foot spot. And so the idea, and that he wasn't staying overnight, he was just going to sit there and park. Then we had him on Pelican Lane, then we've had him all over the place. So what we wanted to do was put them in a location where it's easy in, easy out, doesn't create a traffic problem, doesn't create a parking problem, so on and so forth. And that made sense when this wasn't torn up or out at the marina. So not that we want to say no to RVs, but, we get phone calls every day. If we can fit them in a parking lot, we certainly will. But also, the best place to put them is out at the marina for the night.
So I'm good with that. Let's just tell them to park at the marina. If that's what you want
That's
to do.
99% of the time, and people love it because it's gated. there's
Eliminate all
security
RV
cameras.
parking in the city except for the marina. That's worded that way, and I'm good with that.
That's, well, that's pretty much what we do, because, when we say, hey, we can put you in this public parking lot, or we can put you out at the marina where there's, other liveaboards, there's security cameras, there's, personnel there from sunrise to dusk, that makes a little more sense to, anybody in RV, especially with kids, so on and so forth.
But
So that was the goal.
But that family that just rented that RV that I saw at Algebra Park on the way to this meeting is not going to be happy that they can't park at the beach. I mean, that's got to be a 16, maybe an 18-footer. I don't know. But it was a small one. It was in the parking spot.
Well,
They paid a park, what's the difference?
they're paying to park, but
They're
I'd
definitely
be
paying to
shocked
park.
to know that they're parking there overnight, and if not, whoever's
They would get a ticket, I understand.
they'd get a ticket, they'd be told to.
So we're trying to not eliminate RV parking in the city parking.
Well, Archibald's an easy in, easy out.
Okay, all right. I need a little more clarification.
This is not gonna make or
Yeah.
break the bank. Let's send this back to the workshop and talk about this a little bit more, because I think the intent and the reason for it, you need to be very clear on, and maybe I or staff didn't do a good
I'm
job
so
of.
confused.
You want to rescind your
Communicating that.
motion, and then we can table it?
Can we,
To the
No,
next work-
let's refer it to the next
Refer- yeah,
workshop.
okay.
Let's get it taken
All
care
right.
of, but,
sorry.
That's okay.
That's
No,
okay.
Commissioner,
no,
good,
that's.
That's great.
that-
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I guess what I could do is entertain a motion for it to be, for Resolution 2014 to be referred back to,
It's an ordinance, Mr. Mayor.
the ordinance, I'm sorry,
It'd have to be
ordinance
the same person that made the-
2014-04 to be referred to the next workshop.
We need a motion to postpone it to the next workshop. Is
Okay,
that
that's
how you
what
want
I'm
to do it?
entertaining.
Well, I made the motion, so I'll make the motion to postpone it till the workshop.
Thank you.
Okay, motion's been made and second. Any discussion amongst the commission? Is there any further discussion? Would the city clerk pro tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes,
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shantz?
Yes.
Mayor Palladino?
Yes. Next, item 4, Resolution 2014-13. Mr. City Attorney, please read by title only.
Resolution 2014-13, a resolution of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, amending the City of Madeira Beach Policy Handbook to provide that the Home Pride Award be removed from the Community Recognition Awards, that the Business Recognition Award be removed from the Community Recognition Awards, and that the designated room for workshops be moved to the auditorium instead of the conference room, and providing an effective date. That was reading of Resolution 2014-13 by title only.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that this commission pass Resolution 2014-13.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second. Any discussion amongst the commission?
I think Commissioner Shantz was perfectly on with this. I think it's the Chamber of Commerce responsibility to bring these things forward. Not that we don't appreciate businesses and homes and everything. We've been doing this for several years, but I think the Commerce should step up and do this, and I applaud you for saying that.
And Pat,
Very
thank you
good.
for your wisdom on that. Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Lewis?
Me again. Dick Lewis, 561 Crystal Drive. This is the only action you're taking with respect to the policy handbook. So with your indulgence, I'd like to make another comment in connection with the policy handbook. That's okay.
It's your 3 minutes.
Okay. We have reference in the policy handbook to 3 different types of meetings: regular meetings, special meetings, and workshop meetings, with a mention of agenda-setting meetings. And recently, there's been some variation on meeting identifications on the agenda. One of note is the last workshop, which was entitled Regular Workshop Meeting. I'd like to suggest to Mr. Crawford that in the interest of simplification and understanding of the residents, that we generally stick to the traditional identifications. Otherwise, you should make changes to the policy handbook with respect to meetings. With respect to meeting location, it's easy and quick to make resolutions for changes, but an option is to simply delete that from the policy handbook and leave it to say in City Hall. And you wouldn't have to do it at all in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Is there any further comment? Would the City Clerk Pro Tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shantz? And Mayor Palladino?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, maybe we can comment on that, just because we do have the answers tonight
Okay.
for Mr. Lewis. The first issue is the agenda setting meeting. The reason why I implemented that with the prior commission, actually, years ago, was it really gave the portrayal that staff was setting your agenda. In an agenda setting meeting that we have every Board of Commissioners meeting, the night of the Board of Commissioners, when they meet, 5:30, we sit down and talk about what we're going to discuss at the workshop. And that's always entitled the exact same, agenda setting meeting. It's right here on page 1. We just went over that today. Right, and then, but the workshop meeting is always entitled workshop meeting, and that's the fourth Tuesday of every month. So they're all titled very specifically. The location of the meeting, the reason why we changed this, and I think there were a couple of commissioners that actually preferred the conference room, as I get the evil eye from Commissioner Shantz. The equipment, the technology in that conference room is failing, and in order to we all know what's happening to this building, and so for the ease of everything and not putting any more money into that room, we've decided to just move it out here. We'll probably make an adjustment with the handbook again when we visit this in our new City Hall.
What? Where's your sash at, Pat?
I cooperated, right?
That was after everything else she said.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Would the City Clerk Pro Tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shantz?
Yes.
Mayor Palladino?
Yes. Next resolution, 2014-14. Mr. City Attorney, please read by title only.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Resolution 2014-14, a resolution of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, amending the FY 2014 budget by appropriating expenditures in the amount of $25,000 for Johns Pass Village beautification improvements and providing for an effective date. That was the reading of Resolution 2014-14 by title only.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to pass resolution number 2014-14.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, and question for Mr. City Manager, just to kind of let people know what we're doing with that down there?
Yeah, I was
Beautification
gonna-
dollars, if we could just go ahead and give it.
Yeah, I'm glad you called me, and
Okay.
I can refer to Dave Marsicano, because he's the one that put this together. But one is we have a series of trip hazards down in Johns Pass, and so from a liability standpoint, we obviously want to take care of that. There's a sidewalk, Dave, help me out with the right word, but there's an addition that we want to do along the surf shop area there as well, and then the installation of brick pavers, I believe, is at Triangle Park.
Triangle Park. Triangle Park at the Bamboo out in front there.
On that piece of property that we're leasing out.
Right.
All right.
And then the sidewalk improvements and also the ramp improvements.
There's a couple of areas down in Johns Pass, if you just, the grass won't grow, it's a sandy, whatever. So we're going to just try to beautify those areas a little bit by installing pavers or something to make them look decent. But the 90% of this is trip hazards and sidewalk-related issues that just need to be done from a liability standpoint.
And Pat, actually, I know back when first year you were mayor, I was on the planning commission, and y'all brought that up, and we did with that. So I just think it's finishing up what you started a couple of years ago. So thank you very much for what you started. So we'll finish it.
Hey, maybe I misunderstood. I thought about that.
I think we're just gonna have a little modification to do there, so I think we put some, dollars in there just in case, but the pavers was, I think, the Triangle Park areas, if I'm not mistaken, so that's where we're gonna go with that. The city might have a little modification to do, but the way that we bid that out, and that hasn't been awarded yet, is, it's gonna be completely the responsibility of the vendor, so we'll see how that comes in. If, we might not get a bidder, you know, so we'll have to wait and see how that comes in. No, you're absolutely correct.
Have we had a lot of trippage? People that call in and say, I've hurt my leg in John's Pass? I know there was a place in front of Fantasy Planet that Moshe has talked to me about that we need to, and you and I talked about that when we're going to put the electric charging station in. We talked about that area. Are we doing anything with that area? Or just,
Not in that
we don't have
particular area.
specifics on where we're going to spend this.
If you walk through the
actual
village,
money.
you can see where all the pavers have sunk.
Right.
That creates.
So we're just
trip
going
hazards.
to level the playing field.
We have one pending lawsuit from a trip and fall in that area, but we've had a series of complaints come in. A lot of it's just visible.
Right.
You know, so, we're just trying to get a little proactive on
So
that
the
approach.
25,000 not going to put any lights on my palm trees, is it?
That is not gonna put any lights on your palm trees, I'm sorry.
All right. Okay.
That one area where tires come from.
Yes.
That is,
Yes.
this is that area.
And they're going to put pavers on that in front of the parking places, so it looks like a sidewalk, or we're just going to drop that curb down?
We're gonna drop the curb down, and we can look at putting some sort of, something to,
So it looks like you can keep
Right.
walking there as opposed
Yeah.
to just, okay. Because even if it's painted on it, like they do sometimes with those, you know, bricks on the wall.
right. It's kind of like the thing, the stuff they did in Treasure Island.
Yeah, exactly. Illegal.
We'll figure something out.
Just kidding. All right, moving on.
Any further questions? Any further comment? Guy?
Critelli, 13025 Pelican Lane. I understand you're gonna put a brick put up a table in front of the bamboo beer garden right now, in the triangle? Is that all right? Why are we doing that?
What the board
Why-
chose,
Yes, go ahead,
what
sir.
they chose to do, I think you know the piece of property that we're
Yes,
we're
I know that
discussing.
piece of property.
We put it out for bid, so if anybody in the area wants to bid on it, they can. The board hasn't awarded anything yet, but to make that area a little bit more visible from Gulf Boulevard and to invent some new revenue streams, they chose to
I
possibly lease
understand
it
that,
up.
but if we wanna put something for park, if we'll have a table and people drink and throw bottle outside there, and the people that stay in Madeira Beach, the worker have to pick up all the trash in the morning, I think we should put a motorcycle parking there or bicycle parking, and with the meter that they pay the money. Simple. Not a table, but motorcycle parking. There is no motorcycle parking on the village at all. If they want to drink the bamboo, it's fine. But put a motorcycle parking that they go and get the ticket, and they put on the front of the motorcycle, whatever they want to do it, and they pay the parking. Simple. I think it's the best way, because you're going to start to put a table there, you know what's going to happen. The bamboo does not have a stop with the music. So I'm going to tell you that they do not help us at all. So we're going to help them. I like the guy, I like the people, but this is not right. Let's fix John's Pass. Let's do something nice. Let's put a garbage container in the back there, which we work on it. You know, the garbage is everywhere on Pelican Lane, not just in front of my house, but it's all the way down the street, sir. 20 years. I owned the house for 27 years. And then we go back so many years. Yeah, guy, we do something for you.
Guy, you're getting a little off topic, so.
I know, but
Okay.
let me, for doing the sidewalk beautification, this beautification, sir. I'm sorry, Mr.
Okay,
Capaldi.
no, that's fine, Guy.
But I think in front of the Bamboo Beer Garden, we should put a parking for motorcycle and bicycle, which we don't have on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, we can certainly, you know, that's currently out for RFP. The reason why we did that was to attract, you know, to show some action. We've been confronted a number of times about the noise that the bamboo creates, and now we're gonna park motorcycles out front. I don't know if that's the route that we wanna go. If you wanna revisit what that piece of property should do, you're completely within your right to pull it off the streets, frankly, and reconsider that. For those of you that don't know, the bamboo is changing their stage. They're gonna move it 90 degrees and play out so that the neighborhood benefits from that. If they have to put up that plexiglass, I met with the owners. You guys asked me to do that, and they're going to do that. But the bamboo is not guaranteed to get this piece of property. What if the Thai IM restaurant or whatever wants to put a couple of tables out there and serve sushi for lunch? That was the idea, not to have, some ruckus, whatever you want to call it, out there. So if you want to revisit that, it's not even in off the streets yet. We don't even have a bid, but if you want to call timeout, that's completely within your right. But to go from one use to the other while we're trying to be considerate of noise and that type of thing, just keep all those things in mind when you want to maybe make a change.
Commission, what's your pleasure?
Well,
We started the RFPs. We
Yeah.
definitely should follow
Okay.
through with this. I mean, this is,
Yeah.
Let's wait and see what we get through this.
well, yeah, exactly. Exactly do that. But it doesn't mean you have to take any of it.
Correct.
We don't have to take
yeah,
it.
I guess, and I apologize because now I've got you way off topic. This isn't even
Yeah.
on the agenda. What we're talking about is just doing a couple of quick fixes down in John's Pass for some liability issues. But if we need to change course on something, you guys are in complete charge of that.
And
and
it
you
hasn't
can do that at
been, it
any
hasn't
point.
even come in front of us yet,
Not
so
changing
let's hear
course.
what
We're
it
good.
comes back first, Commission, and then just let's move forward with this, and that's on the fixture and the 25,000. Is there any further comment? Would the City Clerk Pro Tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shantz? Mayor Palladino?
Yes. Next, item 6, Resolution 2014-15. Mr. City Attorney, please read by title only.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Resolution 2014-15, a resolution of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, amending the FY 2014 budget by increasing budgeted parking-related revenue in the amount of $450,000 and providing an effective date. It was reading Resolution 2014-15 by title only.
And I'd like to start out and say that's outstanding, Mr. Crawford. Some of the things that the city, we've all been working together. I mean, that's almost an increase of $100,000. Am I correct on that, Vince? Somewhere close in there from what we were originally budgeted?
$450,000.
$450,000
Yeah,
increase.
excuse me, I'm sorry. That's just outstanding, guys. That's about what I can say on that.
I make a motion, we pass Resolution 2014-15.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
I'm not parking there.
This is
so-
the conservative, this is the conservative putting this
It's,
number.
it's a
Seriously?
very reasonable number.
It is a reasonable number.
we
It's
did
low.
not-
You know it's low. You're always low. And I love that about you.
It's a safe number.
That's what,
We didn't change
that's
the
what my
revenue
financial manager
for,
needs to be.
to account for the new rates. So
Exciting.
I think we've kind of turned parking into a bit of an operation in the last couple of years, so it's in a pretty good position.
A lot, Vince took that on when he was hired as the finance director. He deserves a lot of credit. A lot of credit goes to the guy in the magical little room back there. He's listening. Nick Lewis heads that up, and these guys really take pride in it. And if you see them out there on Saturday nights or Sunday nights or Saturday afternoons, they're out there doing what they need to do. A lot of it, is attributable to we reinvented government and started enforcing. So, we did that. The economy turned around, but you guys have changed Madeira Beach. There's a lot of people coming here, and there are a lot of people putting money in those parking meters, and those parking meters now have changed how we do business, too, and I've seen it happen. I literally was behind the guy that swiped his card to park there all day, and, 2 hours later, there's a different car there. So those parking meters generate a different type of revenue than those quarters, and those are really, I think, going to pay off for y'all.
And the paid by space has definitely, like I said, that's paid off, and it's amazing. That number blows me away. I wasn't even think that was going to be close to that. So, to you and your staff, outstanding job, and to the commission for making decisions to move forward.
I know I've asked in the past about where individuals' machines are used and not used so that we can manipulate them around. Are they pretty consistent in John's Pass area being utilized?
Yeah,
And do we think we need more? Because I watch them. I watch them a lot. I watch people go up to it and decide whether they want to put that quarter in or that dollar in or that credit card in, and how long it takes them to walk back to their car. Some of them are not happy that they have to walk back, that far, but some of them, just pay it and walk back. So I'm just asking, are they pretty much all utilized, or is that?
Yeah, we have all the data. I mean, we know which ones are the hot spots and which ones really aren't being used. And if there ever came a decision to have to move them around, we can always do that too. So right now, we're pretty comfortable with the way we got them set up. Don't
Yeah,
really
I
see
think
any
more of
new
the
ones.
issue is not that they go to their, pay it, and they have to walk back to their car. They're walking away from their car and realize it's a pay for space, and we're still having those issues. You know, it's a new system. People aren't used to it, and so we work with those people. We don't, stick it to them. But signage is going to increase. I think Dave's staff has increased the signage, and Nick, by a dozen just within this last week. And most of our complaints come out of John's Pass, so you'll see a bunch more signs. If they're not up already, they'll be up in the next week or two of telling them you gotta pay by space.
I enjoyed the information you sent out last week on the percentage of, full for the lots, because I know we're generally at 100% John's Pass on the weekends, obviously, and most of our time. But I was wondering, what's your recommendation on leaving it at $1.50, or?
I'd like to plead the fifth if I could, at least at the moment. The city attorney is going to walk you through a memo that he has for you all this evening. I think the city of Clearwater or somebody, Vince just sent it to me, went up to $3 an hour. And that's not necessarily bad. It just depends on how you look at it. But if you didn't read that article that I put in my report and update, I know you all read that from cover to cover. Read that article, because it really walks you through why you should charge what you charge in regards to parking. And there is premium parking, and there's a reason for that, and that's the reason that the fee should be a little bit higher. So read that article, and then I think Tom has a little information for you under his report.
Yeah.
But right now, Mr. I can call you Vice Mayor, Commissioner, I think we do need to routinely revisit that.
We do, and the businesses actually appreciated that after the rates were raised in some areas, but not in all. But my last question is parking permits. Are they increasing or are they decreasing?
Parking permits
the
are up as
residents?
well. Those are up by 52% year over
As
year.
I see, and again, I have John's Pass County. There's 6 spots in front of Delos's and the shop. 5 of them have parking stickers, Madeira Beach parking stickers. Same vehicle every day. I mean, that person takes that spot every day. I'm not saying we should not give everybody that's a resident here, God bless us. I mean, we get free parking. But can we say, if you have employees, you need to park over here and walk in, walk 50 yards. Let that person that's from Ohio or from Michigan park a little closer to the stands. I don't know. That's a fine line, because 52% increase is huge. And we're very lenient about who we give those to. I mean, if you just say, I live here.
Wait a minute. No. You got to prove that you live in Madeira Beach to get that
I understand,
sticker.
but for a month, if you live here for a month, you're okay.
Well, you got to prove that you lived here. Usually it's a driver's license or a utility bill or something like that. But I agree with you, Commissioner. But some of this lays on the business owner. If I'm Jimmy at Delos's, I'm telling my employees,
say, move your vehicle.
They're not parking there because I want the
He gets
guy.
a lot of walk-up business anyway.
Yep.
That may not be the best case scenario, but every
I
other
understand.
business, that has employees, if they have a sticker, they're going to park.
You're one of the
close.
few cities that offers parking to its residents for free. That's a
And
fact.
that's not going to stop.
And I
That's
agree
going
with
to
you.
continue to happen, and that's not even on the table. But I'm just saying, we might want to decide where to park. Okay, all right, I'm opening that box. Ouch! Yeah, that could hurt. And I'm not up for re-election for at least 2 more years.
What are they putting in your
Vince,
coffee tonight,
outstanding.
Terry?
Outstanding.
It's not on me.
Seriously, that's $450,000. We get $1.3 million in ad valorem taxes. That's $450,000 increase. Parking makes more than ad valorem taxes. Actually makes more than ad valorem. That's amazing.
Got a good thing going on.
It's
And
a good
it's not
place
just the
to,
rates.
it's
I
a
mean,
good place to visit. Madeira Beach
yeah.
is a wonderful place to visit.
Absolutely.
And we
Last year
thank the
was,
tourists for being here and the visitors for coming in. And obviously, I'm excited about this number. It's great.
Last year was a historic number, and this year is going to exceed that, even when you net out the rate increase. I mean,
And I like
people
the
are coming to
signs.
Madeira Beach.
I think the signage, I wasn't really big with the square signs. I like my guitar picks, but, I think that even the square signage makes people understand there's 5 or 6 spots right there. You know, the big parking.
Those have definitely increased. If you ask
Yeah.
Nick, they've really done
They
the
have.
trick.
They-
Go back to your
they grab your
$450,000 figure for a minute, because, you know, you and I and staff, we've been labeled as spendthrifts. Well, when you reinvent $450,000 worth of new revenue in
Overnight.
1 year,
Yeah.
you can afford to do some of these things that you're looking at doing. So, again, you know, people don't like the fact that we're spending a lot of money, but you see a lot of things getting done out there, and
And-
so congratulations.
And, you know, I cautioned us against it when we raised it to $1.50. I did, because I'd seen Sarasota take their parking meters out downtown. They simply took them out because nobody was coming. They didn't even slow John Spence down.
Never
Didn't
will.
even slow it down.
They don't have.
Exactly. They don't have what we have in Madeira Beach. Thank you very much, Commissioner Johnson. I'm sorry, I'll stop talking.
That's all right. I like seeing you excited, Commissioner
Nancy, would you
Lister.
take his coffee away?
I haven't had my coffee. Look at this. Empty cup, folks. I have no coffee.
Have some there.
Yeah, I need some, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Get him a Red Bull.
Is
You're
there
a Red
any,
Bull from what I hear.
is there any further comment? Would the city clerk pro tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Absolutely.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shantz?
Yes.
Mayor Palladino?
Yes, outstanding job, Madeira Beach. That's great. Next, item 7, Resolution 2014-16. Mr. City Attorney, please read by title only.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Resolution 2014-16, a resolution of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, amending the FY 2014 budget by increasing budgeted parking-related expenditures in the amount of $15,000 and providing for an effective date. That was reading of Resolution 2014-16 by title only.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion to pass resolution number 201416.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second. Is there any discussion amongst the commission? Is there any further discussion?
I can explain this one if you want me to.
Yeah, please.
You want
walk you through this one.
okay.
So, basically, we're just trying to avoid the county's processing fees. So a couple months ago, you all approved the new contract to go with the private processor. Through March, we had already exceeded our budget for processing fees. So we had a $40,000 budget line. We'd already hit that. This $15,000 is going to get us through the rest of the year, but it's going to do that with a private contract. So rather than paying 50% of the ticketing fee to the county, for the rest of the year, we're paying 12.5% to a private company. So it's going to be it's almost a shame because it won't really be realized in the budget. We would have had to do a budget amendment for a huge expenditure increase, but you'll at least know that we'll be saving. I mean, it'll be at least $50,000.
38%.
It's going to be a big
38%,
big savings.
there
That's
you
an
go.
excellent move. Absolutely. You know, me and the county, we're not on the best of terms.
You've got your revenue increasing significantly and your expenditures decreasing significantly. So both are going in the right direction.
Fantastic job.
Boy, if you keep rolling some numbers like
Fantastic
this,
job.
buddy, you're going to get the key to the city next.
I tell you, John Maroney's going to give me a call. Hi, John.
He's over in Treasure Island now, so
He said, hey,
good.
listen, I represent you.
Um,
You do.
Would the city clerk pro tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shantz?
Yes.
Mayor Palladino?
Yes. Next, item 8, Resolution 2014-17. Mr. City Attorney, please read by title only.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Resolution 2014-17, a resolution of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, amending the FY 2014 budget by decreasing budgeted debt issuance expenditures in the amount of $28,000 and providing for an effective date. That was reading of Resolution 2014-17 by title only.
I'll make a motion that this commission pass resolution number 2014-17.
Second.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion amongst the commission?
Triple play, man. I'm telling you, you just knock it out of the park.
I saved them all
It's
for
like,
one agenda,
we should
so I
have
would look
drafted
really
you
good.
a long time ago. Really? Man,
This
is
one,
excellent.
we already did this actually once earlier in the year. We reduced it by, I think, $120,000. And I just wanted to leave enough room in case anything unforeseen happened, and that didn't
You
happen.
know it's
So,
conservative.
we'll be in good
Always
shape.
conservative.
We're, again, just reducing budgeted expenditures.
All I can say is great
Awesome
job.
job, Vince.
Again.
Is there any further questions from the commission? Is there any further questions from the audience? Would the city clerk pro tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shantz? Mayor Palladino.
Yes. Next item 9, Resolution 2014-18. Mr. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Resolution 2014-18, a resolution of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, establishing its intent to reimburse certain storm-related capital expenditures incurred with proceeds of such future financing, providing certain other matters in conjunction therewith, and providing for an effective date. That was a reading of Resolution 2014-18 by title only.
It is-
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second. Is there any discussion amongst the commission?
Mr. Mayor, if I can just comment,
Okay.
these, I just want to make it straight for anybody at home or the press or anything, that we are not obligating ourselves to borrow anything by doing this. By passing this, this makes it possible to do this in the future. So if you chose to borrow X million dollars to do a road project and buy Don's Dock, you could reimburse yourself with bond proceeds. That's all this is doing. The decision, you have 3 or 4, probably even more than that, kicks at the cat when it comes to figuring out how we're going to finance some of these things. But stormwater and roads, Don's Dock, all those things could play into this. So this is why we're just kind of, it's a horrible pun or analogy, but we're paving the road for you to be able to do this later on. That's all it is. Non-obligatory.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Is there any further questions or comments?
Keeping our options open.
Would the City Clerk Pro Tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shantz? Mayor Palladino.
Yes. Next, item 10, Resolution 2014-19. Mr. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Resolution 2014-19, a resolution of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, establishing annual and daily special event parking permit, providing for an annual permit to include 3 specified events and additional events authorized by the city manager, providing for a daily permit to include individual special events, establishing fees for the annual and daily special event permits, and providing for an effective date. There was a reading of Resolution 2014-19 by title only.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we pass resolution number 2014-19.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion amongst the commission?
Fortunately, Mr. Mayor, if I can have the floor.
Yes.
I just want to be very upfront with you on this one, and if this needs to go back to a workshop, we can do that. The 3 specified dates are Seafood Fest, John Levesque Days, and the 4th of July. The way that I've been doing this with the deputies is on those days, frankly, we need every parking spot in town available because your town is packed on those days. So how do we do that? Well, when Barefoot Beach has 18 spots available, they can come in for a permit and sell those 18 spots. When Dave Marsicano, who lives on Boca Ciega Drive, has a front yard and he wants to park 3 cars on it, he comes in, pulls a permit, and he can park his 3 cars there for X. What we're doing here is trying to create as many parking spots as possible, and the only way I can explain this is if anybody around here has ever gone to a football game at Lambeau Field, you know Lambeau Field's in the middle of a neighborhood. Every house sells parking spots. That it has the potential to do this, and that may be a good thing or a bad thing, but you need parking spots in John's Pass for Seafood Fest. So if there's a home in the area that wants to put 2 cars on it, they can park there or park those cars for a fee until the event is over. That's what this provides for. If you don't like it, let's send it back to a workshop and have further discussion on it.
Great idea.
I do too.
And I'll tell you what.
They do it without any oversight.
Years ago, we had encouraged, we encouraged people on their way, come to the city, buy a permit, and sell parking. So, this is great.
I appreciate that. The other part of this was the fee, and if you read it, I think what we were doing was $25 a day when you do that, and then we were going to have a yearly pass of like $250. Well, when you do the quick math, 3 events, $25 a day, the yearly pass didn't make sense, so we made it very affordable for people to come in on a calendar year, and it's going to be based on a calendar year. If you come in November and you pay the annual fee, it expires December 31st. But you can get those 3, and then anything that we deem as an event, and it has the city manager verbiage in there, but if you guys go ahead and say, we're going to have a Madeira Beach carnival, street carnival, whatever, bad example, but whatever event that it might be, then we can determine that as one of those dates, and then those people don't have to come in and reapply. They can sell parking on those dates. In a town where parking is at a premium and we don't have a lot of it, I think this makes a lot of sense. But you're gonna have, your neighbor may be parking cars on their front lawn that day, and we need to make that apparent. That's all I wanted to get across to you. It's just for those 3 events. This is not an everyday type thing, you know, it'd have to be a defined event by the cities.
That may be a good thing.
We can certainly do that.
So is that next page, is that gonna be given to the landowner to pass out to each car? What's this?
That's the permit. Okay.
Just another revenue source.
It is, and it increases your ability to park cars on those special event days.
What were they again, honey? John's Pass?
Seafood Festival.
Seafood Fest and John Levesque, those are the 3 that we defined. Those are the 3 that you really run out of parking with. And, you know, I couldn't think of anything else that's really hectic. Seafood Fest last year was a nightmare, and the 4th of July is equally difficult. And then with the construction of this project, anything on the north side of town has really been cumbersome because we lost all of our parking up here.
Further questions from the commission?
I'm getting off topic here a little bit, but are we starting to charge the organizers for a little bit of the parking that we used to give away? Oh, you said you were gonna do that this year.
Yeah, I guilt them into it.
Okay, good enough. That's all I wanna hear.
Well, you
Guilt
brought
me into a
it
lot of
up, I'll
things,
tell
too.
you how we do it. When they pull an event application, if they ask for free parking, Vince gave me the statistics, and I put a letter in there that states, if you ask for 3 days of free parking in John's Pass, this is how much money the city, on average, forfeits. Therefore, what is your donation to the city in lieu of free parking? And we get donations.
Good deal. That works for me.
Thank you, Commissioner Lister.
That's for me too.
Is there any further discussion?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to say that Lambeau Field's a long ways away. Raymond James, you gotta do the same thing. You park in the street. You need to go to a game of Raymond James.
Oh.
I know you're a Wisconsin guy. Okay. I've reprimanded him.
That's okay, Commissioner. Thank you,
Good.
sir. Would the city clerk pro tem please call the roll?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes,
Commissioner Shantz? And Mayor Palladino?
Yes, and I want a cup of that coffee.
me too.
Next, item 11, resolution 2014-20, Mr. City Attorney.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Resolution 2014-20, a resolution of the City of Madeira Beach, Florida, amending the City of Madeira Beach Fees and Collections Procedure Manual to establish a fee for special event permit parking, amending Article 4 Finance Department by adding Section E to include fees for an annual permit and daily permit, amending Article 4 Finance Department by renumbering Section E to Section F, providing for reading by title only, providing for distribution, and providing for an effective date. There was a reading of Resolution 2014-20 by title only.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that resolution number 2014-20 be adopted.
I second.
Motion's been made and second. Any discussion amongst the commission? Commissioner Lister?
Make it
Of course I
short.
have a comment. Really? No, I'm fine.
Is this gonna take long?
You've only been here an hour.
He's good.
What this does is just insert the,
No.
what this does,
I love
Mr.
it.
Mayor and Commissioners, just inserts the fee into the previous resolution, into our fees and, our fees manual.
Right.
Wait.
You good?
No. We need amendment on the floor, based off of what I just told you. Staff and I reevaluated that fee. If you go to the page, the annual permit's $250. We were gonna adjust that to $100. So staff would recommend an amendment on the floor to change the annual permit to $100 per year.
Tom, do you need to read that with the amendment in it, or do you need a clarification from the commission first?
We don't have to go ahead and read the resolution again because
Right.
it doesn't have that specific language in it.
Okay.
But as for the exhibit, you're just going to have the understanding that when the motion is adopted, it's going to be, the exhibit is going to have that change.
All right.
So the maker of the motion, is that acceptable?
You want to amend your motion?
Not to beleaguer the point, Mr. Mayor and Board of Commissioners, but this was my reasoning behind it. You know, you can do $25 a day, right? Well, John Levesque is 2 days, Seafood Fest 2 or 3 days, you know, 4th of July is 1. By the time you never get to 250, so 250 was relatively drastic. And at the end of the day, we're not going to get rich off of this permit fee. What we want is people to be motivated to do it, to provide the parking. And so the $100 for the calendar year was really kind of almost like an incentive for people to get interested into doing it, because we have had a lot of people do it, but we need a lot more, to be quite honest with you. And so that's really the reasoning for it. So if you're thinking, geez, $100 really doesn't make it or break it, it doesn't, but we're not going to get rich off this. We want to incentivize these people to come in and actually pull the permit.
Okay. So I need the motion amended. Amended to,
You're good with the acknowledgement. The motion
Okay.
is to adopt the resolution. The exhibit is the only thing that's changing. So
Okay,
long
so we're
as there is
still
an
good.
acknowledgement in the motion that exhibit subparagraph E1 on page 7 of 15 is going to be changed from $250 per year to $100 per year. And that, I think the maker of the motion understood that, and the second was the same. So you just need to call the roll then.
okay, fantastic. Is there any further discussion?
See if you can make that note so that the minutes reflect that accurately, and then that we get that changed in the exhibit.
Will do.
Thank you.
Madam City Clerk Pro Tem, are you good?
Commissioner Lister?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hodges?
Yes.
Commissioner Poe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shantz? And Mayor Palladino?
Yes. Reports and correspondence. I'm sure everybody's been seeing a lot of Madeira Beach on the TV, so the parking, I think that's the main thing our goal is to get more people here. I think we've been kind of working on the I-4 corridor a little bit to the south, trying to get the word out about Madeira Beach, and it seems to be working. This is normally a typically slow time of the year after coming off of the Easter holiday. The beaches have still been packed, which that's exciting, and that just goes back to that $450,000 number. So I want to thank staff and the commission and the residents of the city. We've all together have done a great job promoting our city, so thank you. With the parking, going back to that and using the paid-by-space parking, the great things about this, it does show numbers. It shows the number of vehicles coming in. I'm sure there's ways that we can track of if they're out of state or not out of state from their payments that they're making if they are using cards. The good thing about that is that helps us to justify when we're looking at getting more bed tax dollars from the county, as we're seeing the increase in that. I think it was $31 million last year, and we're definitely going to see us breaking records once again. It's going to be the third or fourth year breaking records in that. So it helps the city of Madeira Beach to go after bed tax dollars for beautification projects. With the additional penny coming available from the stadium, there's talks out there for doing infrastructure beautification projects or infrastructure projects that promote tourism. And you know, folks, we've got one going on right now that I think would put us in a front runner for that with those ball fields out there. So, like I said, hats off Madeira Beach. We've done a great job, so thank you. Any other commissioners?
I'd just like to say something. We had Flip Flop Friday, the last Friday of the month, and I spoke to a lot of the vendors that were there, and they were so excited about it. They did ask, though, that maybe we could put out a little more advertisement. I think it was just that it came up so soon when we made the decision to do it. They said that, you know, they're just real enthused. They're all coming back this month, for the end of this month. And they just said if we could just put a little more advertisement out, like on the main road, signs or something. But like I said, everyone was real positive, very positive.
Yes.
That was outstanding.
Yes.
He always does. He got kicked around a little bit, but he handled it. Everybody was happy when he left. But it was a nice one. It's like a 9 to 2 thing. And, I think once people realize what's happening, it'll be
And we're going to have that again tomorrow, too, aren't we? Yes.
and those people incidentally, right down there. The vendors were absolutely ecstatic over the Madeira Beach and the whole situation.
Yeah, I'll comment it under my report, because we had to work some bugs out, but we're okay. No, you did a good job.
Any other commissioner have anything?
I just want to thank you guys for coming in, Troop 340, absolutely, for doing the pledge for us. I really appreciate that. And they have definitely earned that merit badge from staying to this meeting for an hour and 10 minutes. They're still sitting there. Thank you, gentlemen.
Just give them a cup of coffee.
And again,
And gentlemen, thank you. And to your troop leader, outstanding job. You're shaping the future of our country there. So thank you. With that, Mr. City Attorney, tell us everybody's happy out there.
Everybody's happy out there.
Okay, bud, cheers.
tell us another lie.
I want a cup of coffee.
Typical attorney lie.
You got a memo in the last day or so relative to some change in the adoption of some legislation dealing with parking meters. It just came to our attention by way of a legislative update that one of the lawyers in my office attended last week, and so we just kind of circulated that memo to let you know that there is this issue that we have to be concerned about. I have not had the opportunity to talk to Vince or Shane to see whether or not how it will actually affect Madeira Beach. It all depends on whether or not we have parking meters on any state road. If we have parking meters on any state road, that may affect us, and we may be able to figure something out. If we don't have any, then it's not so much an issue. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. If you have questions about it, I'd be happy to answer your questions. But I really can't tell you how it's going to affect us until I talk to Shane and Vince and see if it has any financial impact at all. It may not have any, but I want to let you know. You're one of the only cities that we represent that actually uses parking meters. So, anyhow.
Off the top of my head, 150th is a state road, but we don't have any meters on it. Gulf is a county road, right?
No,
No,
golf
it's
is
state.
state.
Golf is state,
there's no
but-
there either.
Both of them are state.
None of them are there.
66
But no
We don't have
but
any
no
meters.
parking on the road itself.
No.
So we'll have to have those conversations. We'll get back to you.
So anyhow, I just wanted to let you know that that legislation is out there, that we'll deal with it, and frankly, come back to you with either a memo or an email to let you know if there's any effect financially on you. So that's all I had.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. City Manager.
Just a couple of quick things. June 2nd, Gulf Boulevard construction starts. So if you start getting complaints or questions, have them routed to my office. It's probably going to be a mess. It always is when the main road in your town gets tore up, and you've all been through it before, so it's no different. And then in regards to the events, the midweek market, despite getting kicked around a little bit, I thought was a pretty good success. Some of them were just caught off guard, I think, a little bit. At its mass, it's pretty extravagant. It takes up the entire road. So I went door to door, talked to every business owner, and made nice with everybody. We're going to have it at 150th and Madeira Way completely closed off but staffed, and I think that's going to change some things. I don't need a key to the city, but I swear I saved an old lady's life. There was some old lady that was in a car and just zoomed right through, and I swear it was a matter of a foot. She would have been clipped. And I think people were getting irritated that they didn't know that Madeira Way was going to get closed down, so we're going to close it completely down. Off of Gulf Boulevard, you'll be able to turn in and go to Municipal Drive. You can access the post office and all those stores from behind. You can park there. If you're coming, to visit, you can park at Winn-Dixie. The Winn-Dixie managers are cooperating with us. You can park anywhere up on 150th. I spoke to the property manager there, the mayor's contact, and he's happy that there's action and the storefronts are being visited, so on and so forth. So we're going to work out the bugs on that. That's every Wednesday, so be ready for that. That's 5 or 6 hours. They probably have to shut the road down by about 7:30, 8 o'clock. But that will be every Wednesday, and if the first showing is any indicator, that one's here to stay. Flip-Flop Fridays had its challenges. I think staff might have miscommunicated some information to them. I spoke with them and then gave them some pointers, if you would. They're a group. The group that's throwing that one is out of Tampa, and so they don't have any local sponsors. They didn't know how to get any local participation, so on and so forth. And not all the vendors on Madeira Way had been aware of that. These events work great for some of those vendors. It doesn't work good for all of them, and so that's kind of the demographic that we're working with. In May, Flip-Flop Fridays will be canceled. And the reason for that is I want a quality event, and the last one was a little difficult, and she needs some time to get some sponsorships. I put her in touch with all the vendors along Madera Way. They're going to advertise, they're going to put signage out, but they need their time, they need some time to regroup because they didn't know who the local players were. And so I said, just take the month off and then give us a couple of quality ones in a row, and we'll see where we go from there. So that's where we're at on that one. But we're trying to spur as much activity on the north side of town as we get as we do in the south side of town as well.
Anything else, Mr. Senator? Just one thing to clarify, the Golf Boulevard project starting in June, that will be completing the crosswalks and putting the lights in at all the crosswalks. So you'll be seeing lights at 137th. Those light, excuse me, not 137th, 133rd.
Right.
Those lights will be going in there, and
quick
the other
curbing
crosswalks will be completed.
and your quick curb disappears, which is
Exactly.
not a fan favorite of everybody, and they'll be putting in the bike lanes.
Correct.
So it'll be quite a change, and then probably in the next 2 years, when we get into the thick of things with the utility bearing, that's when you'll get a new version of Gulf Boulevard again.
Fantastic. And Madam City Clerk Pro Tem, do you have anything for us this evening?
We pretty much just have a little fun fact. Turtle nesting season started at the beginning of the month, and it goes all the way through October 31st. And we found out last year we had 23 turtle nests here in Madeira, so it's pretty cool for the amount of beach we have. That's
And
all.
Madam City Clerk Pro Tem, thank you for tonight stepping in for Amy. And everybody, please keep City Clerk Amy's video in your thoughts and prayers. She had a little surgery, and I think she's okay, and she'll be back with us for the next meeting.
Mr. Mayor, before you adjourn, I hate to beleaguer the meeting, but I'm getting a text from the deputy in the back. We have a Coast Guard official here that has a little something for the city that he wanted to take care of yet tonight, if that's okay.
Okay. Well, sir? If you would,
Can you come
I
up
need
to
you to
the-
come to the podium. You got to give your name and address, and
Actually, like for the council,
commissioners. Hang on a second.
thank you for indulging me. As you know, the Coast Guard has been here since the 1800s. Historically fishing village, our presence is very important. You guys have worked with us very closely for the last 6 years. We thank you very much. In lieu of that, we'd like to present you this United States Coast Guard Certificate of Appreciation, presented to the City of Madeira Beach. Grateful appreciation for 60 years of outstanding cooperation and furthering safety. You know how many accidents, how many boats. Thank you, ladies. We appreciate what you do.
Yeah. You're like a forward or something.
We do work well. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming. We'd like to see all these young men at our boating safety clinic.
Yeah, there you go.
We don't like to.
I'm gonna take a couple minutes.
You want an elevator?
Does anybody else have anything to bring forward before I proceed to close? Seeing no further business, this meeting is adjourned at 7:20.